And now may I request Dr. Kashinath to give his presentation as well.
Hope my slides are visible.
Yes.
Yes.
Sahasraksham Ganadesham Sogaram cha Saraswatim Janakam Janayatrim cha Shastrada Pranamamyaham. Good evening, everyone, and good morning, everyone. Before I start the today's talk, I would like to thank advisor to the Ministry of Ayush, Dr. Manesari sir, for this opportunity, and organizer. The area which I'm going to cover today is diet and lifestyle in the management or in managing the mental health. So Ayurveda accepts and follows the universal fundamentals. We all know that how universe is regulated and stabilized by the three factors: sun, moon, and air. In the same way, our physical body is also controlled or managed or regulated by the three factors, what we call Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and even usually they are called as bioenergies. If there is any vitiation, if there is a disturbance in the sun, moon, and air, universal factor, obviously there will be devastating calamities will occur. In the same way, when these physical factors, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, when they are deviated, when they get vitiated, ultimately it will give rise to the lots of ailments. In the same way, even mental body is also consisting of the three factors. These three factors make out the mental body. Preferably, sattva is the rather than considering it as a contaminant, rather than it's considering it as a dosha, it is considered as the attribute. It is considered as the guna, quality. So if you maintain, if you promote, if you preserve, and if you promote sattva guna, it indicates that you are moving towards the health. In the same way, when other two factors of mental body, that is raja and tama, they are considered as the doshas. If there is any vitiation of raja and tama, it will induce us the lots of ailments. And there is a interrelation between the physical factors like vata, pitta, kapha with the mental factors raja, tama, and sattva. Preferably, Ayurveda says that if the person if the person takes any food and activities which vitiates physical factor, preferably vata dosha and pitta dosha, it directly affects raja factor, that is mental factor. In the same way, if the person consumes any food or if he indulges in any activities which vitiates the kapha dosha, in turn, one or other way, it may affect the body by affecting the tamasika factor of the mind. So ultimately, the fluctuations of these raja and tama directly depends upon the sharika doshas, physical factors, vata, pitta, and kapha. So coming to the symptoms, this is very much essential, because whenever the mentally disturbed patients, whenever he visits your clinic, ultimately we are supposed to see which dosha of the mind is vitiated, whether it is whether there is a disturbance, or whether there is a vitiation of rajas factor, or whether there is a vitiation of the tamasic factor. If there is a rajas, if there is a vitiation of the rajasic factor, then obviously person will show the symptoms which are very overstated in the sense irritability, anxiety, anger, nervous breakdown, or panic breakdown, or panic attacks. If such symptoms are appearing, it indicates that there is a vitiation of the raja dosha. Accordingly, we are supposed to advise the medication, and accordingly you are supposed to advise the lifestyle. In the same way, when there is a vitiation of the tamas of mental factor, then person will show these certain symptoms like loneliness, low feeling, or even loss of enthusiasm, sorrow, grief. If depression, if person has such symptoms, it indicates that tamasika guna or tamasika factor of the mind is vitiated. So this is very much essential. Here, what I said already, if there is a vitiation of the sharirika doshas, if there is any vitiation of the physical factors like vata, pitta, kapha, directly it is going to affect the mansika doshas. So here, these are the some of the foods which literally vitiates the rajas, that is which literally vitiates the Vata and Pitta. If the person consumes any food which are dominant in the taste, like if they are pungent, if they are rich in bitter, astringent, salt, sour, ultimately it is going to affect the Vata and Pitta dosha, which in turn affects the Rajasa, in Rajasic, that is Raja factor of the mind. So certain, if you want to see which kind of food affects your mind, especially Raja factor, here grains, preferably barley and oats. Ayurveda says that any food which is year-old harvested grains, they are dominant of vitiating the Vata dosha. So any grains which are old in nature, they will vitiate the Vata. Vata and all the pulses except the green gram and Bengal gram, except green gram and Bengal gram, all pulses will vitiate the Vata dosha. If the person excessively consumes these food product, ultimately it is going to vitiate the mental factor, that is Rajas. And especially millets, it may be barnyard millet, fox millet, finger millet. Again, these are also having the capacity to vitiate the Vata dosha. And spices, we all know that all this cinnamon, chili, if they are more, if you consume without calibrating, if you consume in excess quantity, again obviously it is going to affect the Pitta dosha, which in turn affects your mental factor Rajas. That is the reason we say that whenever there is a vitiation of the Rajas, ultimately we make the person not to consume the fast food or junk foods which are very much rich in spices and which are very much rich in salt. In the same way, any fruits and any vegetables which are rich source or which are sour in nature, again it is going to vitiate the Pitta dosha. And unseasonal, artificially ripened, nowadays the food products and especially fruits what we are getting, they are artificially ripened. That may be because of using of the oxytocin, or it may be because of ethanol gas. So because of this artificial ripening, again it will get the nature of sourness. Because of that, again it is going to vitiate the Pitta dosha, which in turn vitiate the Rajas. So again, immature and overmature, Ayurveda says that always whenever you are consuming any vegetables, that should be tender in nature. So here if you take any vegetables which are overmature or immature, again it is going to vitiate your Sharirika dosha, that is a physical factor, which in turn affect the mental dosha. And oil, while selecting the oil, especially rice bran oil, mustard, flaxseed oil and linseed oil, these are the reference. Ayurveda says that excessive consuming of these oils will vitiate the Vata dosha, which in turn affect the Raja. And excessive intake of meat of animal belonging to the arid region or desert land, again it is going to affect your mind. And especially food products like honey, buttermilk, which Ayurveda says they are dry in nature, they are rukshatva in nature. Because of that, again it is going to affect the Vata dosha. And curd or yogurt, if it is sour in nature, if it is sour in taste, again it is going to vitiate the Pitta dosha. In such a way, and all drinks, cold drinks, refrigerated drinks, and excessive intake of water, again it is also vitiating your doshas. Caffeinated drinks, directly it will vitiate the Pitta dosha, which in turn affects your Rajas of the mind. And as I stated earlier, foods like junk foods and fast food which are rich in spicy and salty, it's affect the Pitta dosha, which in turn affect the Rajas. Ill habits, alcohol, tobacco. So whenever the person is mentally disturbed at that time, preferably if there is any dominance of Raja dosha, don't advise to consume the alcohol, tobacco, or some or any other drugs. And whenever we advise any kind of diet, we focus much on qualitative food. Why we are not focusing on the quantitative food? Ayurveda says even quantity, if you take less than your requirement, again it will vitiate the Vata dosha, which affects your mind. Again, skipping the food or fasting, irregular fasting, untimely food and overeating, both are going to affect your body. Even though you are taking the qualitative, highly nutritious food, but it is not according to the quantity, again it is going to affect your body, which in turn affect mind. So these are some of the lifestyle, deviated lifestyle, excessive indulging in the sleep, excessive lack of sleep and or waking at the night, excessive exertion, excessive physical activity, and withholding the natural urges. It may be urine or it may be fecal. If you hold, again it is going to affect the Vata dosha, which in turn affect the mind. So these are some of the etiologies which vitiate the tamas. So as I stated in Rajas, again all the attributes which I explained in the Rajas, they are totally contrast in the tamas. Excessive intake of sweet, Sour and salt, literally it's affecting the kapha dosha, which in turn affect the tamaguna of the mana. So again, grains, as I stated in the rajas, here tamas, they says newly harvested, freshly harvested, whereas in the rajas there will be 1-year-old harvested grains. If you consume, it will vitiate the rajas. But where here, if you consume freshly harvested any grain, it may be paddy, wheat, barley. If it is freshly harvested, that is affecting the kapha dosha. If kapha dosha is affected, it is going to affect your mansika. So pulses, preferably black gram, what we call masha. Masha again, it vitiate the kapha dosha. Excessive intake, it will give the tamaguna, tamo vitiates, it will vitiate the tamadosha of the mind. Refined flour and roots, especially all tubers, like it may be like lotus stalk, sweet potato, radish, onion, and refrigerated food. So and milk, preferably like buffalo milk with cream, curd, yogurt. These are very rich source of calories. But Ayurveda says excessive intake of these things will suppress your agni, which in turn vitiate the kapha dosha. Excessive and continuous intake will affect your mansika doshas, preferably tamas guna. And these are some of the food products which is going to affect your the kapha dosha, which in turn affect the tamas guna of the fruits, vegetables, food intake pattern. As I stated, overeating. Whereas in rajasic there will be a less eating or fasting excessively. But whereas in tamasic, overeating, excessive intake will vitiate the kapha dosha, sharirika dosha, which in turn affect the mental factor, that is tama. And again, contrast to that of Rajasika, here in Tamasika, excessive indulging in sleep, day sleep, sedentary lifestyle, and lack of exercise. Again, this will disturb your metabolism, which in turn affect the kapha dosha. Again, ultimately, if it affect the mind. So when it comes to the management, so if you want to manage any mental conditions or mental ailments according with the help of diet and lifestyle, there are two specific principles. There are two basic principles. One is specifically if there is a vitiation of the raja, as I stated that whenever there is a vitiation of the rajas factor, then the person will be overexcited. At that time, we should adopt the principle which will calm down the excited body. In the same way, when there is a vitiation of the tamas, that is underrated, the symptoms will be underrated. Person will be lethargic, not enthusiastic. At that time, we should adopt certain principles which will excite the person. So in general way, and there are lots of research saying that if you maintain the gut, if you maintain your metabolism, that will directly help you to maintain the brain. If your brain is maintained, ultimately your mind is also maintained. So whenever you are planning out any diet and lifestyle, even you are supposed to focus on your metabolism, you are supposed to focus on the gut, and even another is you are supposed to focus on the sleep. If you advise appropriate sleep for the particular mental disorders, that will also help to maintain the or manage lots of psychological disorders. So here, if you want to manage mental disorders, whether it is a rajasic or whether it is tamasic characteristics, then you are supposed to advise the food which are dominant in the satvika aharas. Satvika aharas are nothing but that is moderate intake of sweet or moderate use of sour and very less intake of salt, and food products which are rich in which are preferably dominant in cow milk and cow ghee, or any milk products which are or any other milk byproducts which are preferably made by the cow milk, and fruits which are fresh and fresh and whole, and preferably dry fruits also helps to maintain the mansika health. And vegetables, as I stated, it should not be over matured or it should not be immature. It should be tender in nature. That will come under the category of satvika ahara, which will help your metabolism. In turn, it will help your mind. And freshly prepared and warm food. Again, this is very, very important, which is missing when we are advising any diet. Always we should recommend it should be freshly prepared. Ayurveda says that yamam gatarasam puti parishitam. Any food, if it is after preparing, if it exceeds 3 or 4 hours, then it will become tamasic guna, which is going to decrease your metabolism, which is in turn vitiate the dosha, which in turn affect the tamasic guna. So always you should advise freshly prepared and warm, quantitatively according to the digestive power. Whenever you are advising the food, first make the persons to consider understand what is digestive power, how to assess the digestive status. If you cater this knowledge to each and every individual who are visiting your hospital, you should advise them, assess your agni. assess your metabolism. According to metabolism, if they start consuming, then obviously it is not going to affect your metabolism. Again, in turn, it will help to maintain your mental health. And timely, Ayurveda says that pratah sayam manushanam. Ayurveda says to consume the food twice a day, morning and evening, and preferably when it comes to the intake of food at the night, that is dinner. And here he says that quantity should be half of to that of the morning amount, that is half of to that of the amount which is considered in the first meal. Avoid preferably non-vegetarian, and Ayurveda never says directly to avoid non-vegetarian, but during the condition of the tamasika vikaras, then you are supposed to limit the intake of the non-vegetarian. Again, it depends whether tamasika guna is vitiated or whether it is rajasika guna is vitiated. Selection of the which kind of non-vegetarian can be consumed depend upon the vitiation status. So again, ultimately, when it comes to the lifestyle management, so physical activity, everyday bath twice a day, Ayurveda recommends twice a day bath with lukewarm water will helps to maintain your whole body. And sleep inducing, you should preferably, as I stated, that research says that good sleep will help to maintain the all psychological disturbance. So to induce or to get the good sleep, Ayurveda recommends that every day you are supposed to go for massage. Shirashravana Padeshu Visheshana Shile. That is, every day you should do head massage. Every day before you go to bed, you should go for head massage with oil and foot massage with the oil. That will induce the good sleep. Even Ayurveda advise that when you go to bed, preferably you drink milk. Milk is rich source of tryptophan, which is a good sleep inducer. Ayurveda says Vasarante Pibet Paya. That is, milk is supposed to be taken at the night, which is good for good sleep. If sleep is good, then obviously sleep will maintain your gut health. If gut health is maintained, ultimately brain is maintained. If brain is normal, obviously your mental state is also maintained. In the same way, timely food, quantitative food at the night also helps to maintain the gut health. If gut health is maintained, sleep automatically the proper person will start getting the proper sleep. And these are some of the usual modalities which will help to gut health. If your gut health is maintained, ultimately your psychology is also maintained. Preferably toothbrush, we know that, but tongue cleaning is one of the major issue people are not practicing. When we ask what is the purpose of tongue cleaning, most of the people will say that it is only for oral hygiene. No, research says that tongue cleaning also maintains your gut health, and even it will help to maintain the innate immunity. So tongue cleaning should be propagated for all the condition, not only for the mental or psychological disturbed person, even healthy individuals. They should have the habit of practicing tongue cleaning. And medicated oil nasal installation, Nasya, I think Mandip Goyal may have already discussed about that one. Gargling with the preferably with gingerly oil, that helps to maintain the oral, and it will help to maintain the gut health. And exercise according to your own capacity. Ayurveda says that Ardha Shakti. So exercise, it should not be excessive. If it is excessive, it is affecting the Vata dosha, which in turn affect the Rajaguna. So it should be always quantifying. It should be calibrated. So it should be half of your capacity, and according to your capacity, you should decide what should be the exercise amount. And yoga, pranayama, we all know that how they are effective in managing the mental health. And preferably oil massage. Prefer everyday oil massage. Ayurveda advised that Abhyangam Macharet Nityam. Every day person has to go for oil massage and warm water bath. I already discussed. And wearing the clean clothes, it will also give the sense of pleasure, sense of positivity, optimism. And using the fragrant material. Ayurveda says that at bedtime, if you just use any fragrant materials, that will also induce us the good sleep. Good sleep maintains gut health maintains the mind. So again, ultimately, Achar Rasayana, these are some of the behavioral therapy. So you should be always truthful and do not respond to any mental urges. Obviously, when one or other way we are exposing to the anger, grief, inducing situations, that time you are supposed to control your emotions. If you control your emotions, ultimately your mind will be stabilized. And indulge in non-violence, try to calm yourself, interact with the family members, share your problems. When you share your problems, ultimately one or other way you will get lots of suggestions which will help to come out of the any weird situations. And respect all, share your problems, maintain celibacy. These are some of the things which will help to maintain your physical health. In turn, one, it will help to maintain your mental health. Last but not the least, just I'm going to conclude that assess the mental factor which is vitiated, whether it is a rajasic or whether it is manasic. According to that, you should decide which kind of food you are supposed to take, lifestyle you are supposed to modify. So behavioral therapy is the ultimate thing to control all the mental fluctuation. Stick on to the Ayurveda lifestyle fundamentals day by day in routine. Every day, if you start imbibing this knowledge, ultimately your mind and body will be fit. Thank you very much for patiently. Sir, it's my submission.
Thank you, Dr. Kashinath, for such a wonderful presentation. Really very educational, and of course, we are almost about to wrap up. I want to acknowledge and commend and admire our 4 key panelists from Toronto, actually. Dr. Harish Verma, Vaidya Urvashi Chimwala, and Vaidya Neelam Nagaria, and Vaidya Manju Setia, actually, for joining us. We thought we will have some time to go for a further Q&A, but I think we are pressed with the time. But I want to sincerely, on behalf of Canada India Foundation personally, and all of us, want to thank you, because the torch, you are bearing the torch in spreading the message of Ayurveda and spreading wellness. You all are practicing in different parts of GTA, and through this series, our objective is to highlight, bring a person like yourself also on this platform to acknowledge and admire your contribution as we all moving forward, that how we can propagate and promote Ayurveda for preventative healthcare as well as disease management side. And your contribution and your support and help is very important. And we sincerely thank you. And you all are important part of the team, and we'll stay connected. And today, I think we'll skip the Q&A session. Whatever some of the Q&A have come, I think we'll tackle that through email. And now, if I can request Ritesh Malik for the concluding remark. And thank you all speakers for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you very much, all the panelists, for their enlightening remarks. It gives our participants and attendees a very detailed and thorough information on handling stress and keep their mental health strong. We are sorry we could not cover questions today, but we will find a way to actually address all the questions we've received today. We would like to thank Consul General Apurva Srivastavji for supporting us and joining for this session today. Our special thanks for Honorable Michael Tibollo, Associate Minister for Mental Health and Addiction, Government of Ontario, for sparing time to join us from his busy schedule. Thank you, sir, for staying all this while. Thank you, Minister Tibollo. Our special thanks to Dr. Manoj Nisari ji, Advisor, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, for all his help and support. He's been a great support right from the word go. I would also like to thank our eminent panelists, Dr. Mandeep Goyal, Dr. B.S.C. Rao, and Dr. Kashinath. What you shared with us was really knowledgeable and helpful. We want to take it further from here. Special thanks to our local Ayurveda practitioners as well, Vaidya Harish Verma ji, Vaidya Urvashi Chimwal, Vaidya Neelam Nagaria, and Vaidya Manju Setia ji. As we said, we are really sorry we couldn't take the questions, but we would, of course, want you to come back again. And people have a lot of questions, and we would like those to be addressed. Special thanks to all the audience for joining. Please do share your feedback with us. A special thanks to Canadian Ayurvedic Practitioners Association, Vedic Spiritual Heritage Foundation, Consulate General of India, and all the media partners of our webinar speaker series, especially Pravasi Media and Y Media, for covering these sessions live. Friends, please stay in tune for our next Ayurvedic speaker series webinar on fundamental principles of Ayurveda, Tridosha theory, concept of Prakriti, Agni, and Oja on Sunday, 15th November 2020. Our expert speaker for this session would be Dr. Inderbir Singh Chugh. Stay safe, stay healthy, and wish you all a very happy Dhanteras and Shubh Deepavali. Thank you and namaste.